so lonely, broken angel. I'm so lonely.
Michael Steele, welcome to Hardtalk.
Yeah.
It's great to have you here. I want to take you back to that day in November 2016 when it became clear Donald Trump was going to be the next president of the United States. For you, as a long and loyal Republican, how did you feel?
I guess the emotion would be, here we go. Let's strap in, get ready. Because I knew I'd worked with Donald Trump in the past. I knew what kind of campaign, obviously, he had run over the past year and a half, and had predicted his eventual win earlier on.
But if I may say so, not in neutral fashion. This is a quote from you after you observed one of the later presidential debates. You said of Trump's performance, I was damn near puking during the debate.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I reacted, how a lot of people reacted, but it had nothing to do with his ability to connect with voters in a way that they would then, several months later, go into the ballot box and pull the lever for him. That's the one thing I think a lot of the political elites and the establishments in the media and elsewhere did not understand fully at the time, was that as much as we were hair on fire about a lot of things that Donald Trump was saying and the tweets and all this other stuff, beneath the surface, he was connecting with people in a way in which they found themselves drawn to him. I stepped back and observed that, and what I realized was Donald Trump's voters were once his audience. So these were people that he had been able to cultivate and develop a relationship with over a long period of time before he ran for president.
And it should be said that you ran the Republican Party National Committee at a time when Mitt Romney was becoming
Mitt Romney or John McCain, I took over right after John McCain. Right.
2008 election, 2012 election, where the Republicans simply couldn't find a viable winner.
Well,
and Donald Trump.
I disagree with the concept that they weren't viable winners. They were certainly viable in the sense that they ran competitive campaigns, but the problem was that last little bit, as you know, in politics, is about connection. You can have the best papers in the world. Hillary Clinton's a great example of it. Policy up the yazoo. But at the end of the day, it's that connection with the voters that has to be genuine enough to pull you through. And that was something that was missing at the end of both of those campaigns.
Which brings us to the present day. If you are saying to me that despite your reservations, which you had from the very beginning of the Trump phenomenon, despite your reservations, you could see that this guy had a special ability to connect.
Right.
Let us bring it to the present and ask, what on earth do you think Donald Trump thinks he is doing with the messages he is putting out day by day right now? And let us start with the first and central quote of this period, and that is his remark to a bipartisan group of Congresspeople. And that is his remark to a bipartisan group of Congresspeople that he couldn't understand why, and it's an offensive word, but he couldn't understand why so many people from shithole countries were being allowed to come into the United States. Where's the connection there?
Well,
who's he connecting with?
He's connecting to that 37% of his base that has stayed with him throughout, period. That's it, full stop. That's his cornerstone for anything he's going to do. Look, he can calculate and go, I'm going into 2018 with 38%. Democrats have put no one up against me so far who can keep me there. And he believes, and I do believe this, and it's probably a sad commentary in the main, is, if an election is held today, given the options that voters have, he would be in a better position to win than not. And that, again, speaks to the fact that Donald Trump, for everything else that people don't like about him, with that core constituency that has stayed with him, that's a good, solid base to start from. And so he appeals to them. Those comments appeal to those voters. He appeals to that baser instinct.
You are that relative rarity in the Republican Party, a senior voice from the Black American community. In your view, is Donald Trump a racist?
Yeah, I think he has racist tendency. I think he uses race as a weapon to divide and conquer his opponents, to shift the narrative to something else.
Personally, how do you feel about that?
It's bothersome. I mean, what do you...
Bothersome? I mean,
okay,
you're
it doesn't
a
matter.
black American.
What am I going to do about it? Doesn't matter. I didn't vote for the man. So what does it mean?
Hang on, you didn't vote for Trump?
No, I didn't. That's
a former chief of the RNC who refused to vote for the Republican candidate.
That's been on the record since the election. Since before the election, because I could not. I mean, look, I have a certain value set. I have a certain principles, and I have a certain way I look at the kind of leaders that I want to represent me. And the key thing to understand here, and I think this is a critical moment on the heels of this recent controversy with the president, that this is no longer about Donald Trump. I mean, we need to get over this shock and awe with Donald Trump. Oh, that's what he said today. Oh, my God, what does this mean? It doesn't mean anything. He is who he is. He's a 71-year-old man that was born out of a certain period of time.
But
he reflects that period of time.
We normalize the fact that, in your view, a racist is sitting in the White House.
We had an election. There's no impeachment proceedings. There's no 25th Amendment proceedings. This will resolve itself at the ballot box in 2020. The American people will have a decision to make at that time. So whether Michael Steele feels a certain way or anyone else feels a certain way, the only thing you can do at this point is talk about it. And here's the key thing. This is less about Donald Trump and more about the American people, a reflection of us. And the question becomes, is this the reflection that we want to continue to project?
Well,
I'm so lonely, broken.